So, you want to be the guy who truly doesn't give a fuck? Great. You want to move through life unshaken, immune to opinions, criticism, and all the noise? You want to be the guy who does whatever he wants, speaks his mind, and refuses to live by anyone else's expectations? I see. Most of us claim we don't care what others think, but the truth? We're trapped, constantly adjusting, hesitating, and holding ourselves back just to fit into a mold society made for us. Let me tell you, I was there before, and there's simply no other option than breaking free and taking full control of your life. So listen, brother, because you're going to have to master 3 simple things that I'm about to lay out in this video. Trust me, there's an easy fix to this. And if you make it to the end of this video, I'll have a secret mindset shift that will permanently change the way you see yourself. So stick with me until the end, because the next 10 minutes will change everything for you. You see, from personal experience, I've learned that truly not giving a fuck isn't as impossible as I thought it would be. In fact, the idea that I was in a race helped me more than listening to 100 self-help guru videos. I know the idea of not caring might be confusing. You're probably wondering, is it just about ignoring opinions? Or is there something deeper? What I'm trying to tell you is that when it comes to building unshakable confidence, you really need to have a clear path, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. Use no one actually cares to your advantage. The first crucial thing is equipping yourself with the ability to stop caring about what others think. Let me tell you, most people fail right here. It's not because they lack confidence or because they aren't trying to be their own person. No, the real answer is that they fail to recognize one simple truth. No one actually cares. Not sure if you already noticed, but for some reason, everyone seems to live as if the world is watching their every move. Think about it. If you look at your life right now and feel like you hold yourself back because of fear of judgment, there's going to be a clear reason for that. It's not that you haven't tried to be more confident before, right? I know you have. I know that you've been watching videos like these, trying to convince yourself that other people's opinions don't matter, but somehow it never seems to work. This time, rather than falling into an endless cycle of self-consciousness and overthinking, I'd like you to identify that moment when you start to believe that people actually don't care about what you do. I'll tell you mine. You see, whenever I got serious about not caring what others thought, I would throw myself at it with full intensity. I felt like I had unlocked some kind of mental superpower. I walked with confidence, spoke my mind, and acted without hesitation. For a while it worked. I felt free, like I was finally in control of my life without the weight of others' opinions slowing me down. You get my point. How could I ever go back to caring? However, I kept failing. For me, it took a few cycles of second-guessing myself until I decided to sit down and figure out what the heck was going wrong. And I know that for you it might be different, but in my situation, it happened because I would catch myself assuming that people were actually thinking about me in the first place. For example, I'd be in a public place and have an idea to do something different. Maybe wear something bold, say something controversial, or just act in a way that felt authentic to me. But then, a little voice in my head would go, wait, what if people think this is weird? That was it. That was the moment for me. That was my conditioned self, winning over the new me that I had been trying to build. Look familiar? Of course, I wouldn't realize this in real time. I would hesitate, hold back, and act in a way that felt safer. The next time, a butterfly effect would begin. It would be easier to care again, and before I knew it, I was back in the cycle of overthinking and seeking validation. You see what I mean? It didn't fall apart instantly. It would take a week, sometimes 2. But like clockwork, these little relapses would eventually send me back to being someone who cared way too much about what others thought, wondering what had gone wrong. In order to truly stop giving a fuck, I had to accept one undeniable truth. No one is actually thinking about me as much as I think they are. Why, you ask? Because everyone is too busy worrying about themselves. The same way you're overanalyzing your own actions and thoughts, that's exactly what they're doing too. In other words, realize that no one actually cares, and free yourself from the prison of imaginary judgment. This brings me to the next step. Start using awkwardness to your advantage. You see, besides my vulnerability to mini relapses, another reason I would mess up my winning streak was that I let awkwardness have the wrong effect on me. Awkwardness is a force. Let me say that again. Awkwardness is a force. This means you can either use it to push you toward confidence or insecurity. The moment I realized this, I started trying to harness it. Let me tell you how it happened. For the majority of my life, I never allowed myself to embrace awkwardness. The second I felt socially uncomfortable, I would either shut down or try too hard to fix the situation. I'm sure you've been here as well. Yes, my awkwardness would instantly disappear, but why was I so afraid of it when the secret was to allow myself to feel it? As uncomfortable as it was necessary for me to own it until I couldn't bear it anymore. Do you know what happened next? I stopped caring. Not in a reckless way, but in a way that made me feel free. I started thinking I'd rather own my awkwardness than waste energy fighting it. As a result, I became the guy who looked confident even in the messiest situations. All it took for me was to consciously experience awkwardness and use it to catapult me in the direction I wanted to go. Listen, brother, I know you can easily do this too if you try. It wasn't until later that I realized researchers had found this to be a real thing. I ran into a study where they had people sit in a room with a device that would administer a shock. It turned out that rather than sit with discomfort, people would choose to shock themselves. That's insane. Let me know in the comments. Would you do the same thing? I guess the takeaway is that even if you don't have time to sit around and feel awkward, you should keep looking for any opportunities that give you an edge over others. This is why you notice comedians, public speakers, and high-level entrepreneurs taking advantage of their own discomfort. They understand that the way you react to awkward moments defines how others perceive you. Have a look at this. Our minds go through periods of peak confidence when we naturally feel unstoppable. This is followed by moments of doubt, which trigger growth, after which you can increase confidence again. This might sound obvious, but it costs nothing to pay attention to when you feel the most confident and when you start feeling awkward. This is just one technique, though, and if you're curious about what else you can do to win in life, I've already created a video specifically on this theme that will be uploaded soon. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, brother, if you're thinking, who really wants to be paying attention to awkward moments and reframing them as confidence? I don't blame you. It can feel like a little too much at times. But these are avenues that most people aren't exploring. It's why you only see comedians and certain public figures care about it. Why do they care about it, though? Well, because the higher you go in life, the more you encounter social pressure. However, this shouldn't make you lose motivation. It should only make you own your weirdness for yourself. And this is the third key step. Have you ever noticed how the people who stand out the most are the ones who fully embrace their quirks? Well, I found this to be incredibly true in my life. Most of the time, what held me back was my own hesitation, my fear of being judged, my insecurity about being different. This is why becoming the kind of person who truly doesn't care what others think involves recognizing that your uniqueness is your strength. Moreover, once you stop filtering yourself to fit in, you begin to feel an immense sense of freedom. You no longer rely on approval or validation like you once did. Do you know why? It's because when you accept and even amplify your quirks, you develop an unshakable sense of confidence. You start to realize that you don't need to apologize for who you are, and you certainly don't need to tone yourself down to make other people comfortable. It is ridiculously easy to blend into the background when you suppress what makes you different. You get stuck in the, I should probably dress more normal, or maybe I shouldn't talk about my weird interests mindset. But don't get me wrong, man. I'm not saying you should be obnoxious or force your personality onto others. I'm saying that if you want to break free from the fear of judgment, you have to embrace what makes you, you. And if you aren't sure what I mean by weirdness, I mean everything. From your sense of humor, the way you think, the little obsessions you have, your hobbies, your passions, your unique way of seeing the world. Literally everything. You basically want to take what you usually try to hide and put it front and center because this is a fundamental part of self-acceptance and confidence. Let's slow down for a bit because I know this is all coming at you in one go. Take a deep breath if you need to. But listen up, because this stuff is important. There's a reason why embracing your weirdness is so crucial. You see, if you want to stop caring about what others think, just ignoring their opinions won't take you all the way. There's a difference between pretending you don't care and genuinely owning who you are. They sound similar, but truly accepting your quirks shifts your entire mindset. Without this step, your confidence may never be as strong as it should be. You know what happens when you do this? I mean, what happens when you fully own your weirdness? Every interaction, every relationship, every opportunity in your life starts to feel more authentic and effortless. Now, if you have made it this far, you understand that stepping into the mindset of the don't give a fuck guy was the critical first step. You also understood that realizing no one actually cares about your mistakes or awkward moments is the foundation of true confidence. And now you have seen how reframing awkwardness as confidence can turn even your most embarrassing moments into power moves. But let me tell you, it can all be for nothing if you don't own your weirdness. and lean into what makes you different. The world is filled with people trying to blend in, afraid to stand out, terrified of judgment. But here's the reality: the people who succeed, the people who command respect, are the ones who fully embrace their quirks, their passions, their oddities. They aren't trying to fit into a mold, they break the mold. When you own your weirdness, when you stop filtering yourself just to please others, you shift from being an insecure bystander to being someone who sets the tone. The tasks ahead of you are going to be uncomfortable. There will be moments where your old instincts kick in, when you start overanalyzing what someone might think of your outfit, your joke, your idea. But you need the conviction that your authenticity is more important than fleeting approval. Most people are too caught up in their own insecurities to judge you as much as you fear. And those who do, they don't matter. The people you admire, the ones who seem effortlessly confident, weren't born that way. They train themselves to not care, not in a reckless way, but in a way that frees them from the prison of other people's opinions. This is super important, brother. If you want to be that guy who moves through life with unshakable confidence, you need to cultivate a mindset where your self-acceptance outweighs external validation. At this step, I'd recommend you take some time to reflect. What are the things you've been suppressing just to fit in? What parts of yourself have you been hiding? Drop them in the comments if you're bold enough. I'd love to see what makes you, you. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. We are on the same path of breaking free and stepping into our most unapologetic selves. No matter the reason you're watching this video, I welcome you to embrace this mindset and keep pushing forward. Because once you stop caring about what doesn't matter, life opens up in ways you never imagined.